Oh, goodness. This week we're fishing the lakes of the St. Johns River system, and we're looking for largemouth bass. Although a majority of the fishing that we do in real time is in saltwater, Florida is really known for its largemouth bass fishery. There's tons of lakes in Florida, and top quality areas that hold giant largemouth bass. This week we're fishing with Monty Goodman. This guy has the bass dialed in. This is what he does, He fishes for bass full-time, tournaments, charters, and I've been talking to him about putting this show together. And it's difficult, you try to plan these things out weeks in advance, and you never really know what the weather's gonna do. So we set a date, we agreed upon a lake to fish, and we headed out, and I was hopeful to catch a big bass. What a beautiful morning. First thing, Monty Goodman, what do you got planned for us?
Well, I'm hoping with as calm as it is today that we get some good topwater action. Hopefully that lasts throughout the day. It tends to happen on these St. Johns River lakes this time of year. So we're just gonna go out here and give it our best shot. And if we have to, we'll get out the flipping sticks and go punching.
All right, well, this Triton normally sees salt water. It doesn't have too much sweet water exposure, so bear with me. My bait casting experience is not, it's limited. So bear with me, but they got some big bass out here, right? That's our target.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We didn't go a couple hundred yards, Monty. You got me tearing up my boat.
Yeah.
What is this? I thought we were looking for a lake.
Well, we got a nice mix of water lettuce and water hyacinth here. It's a never-ending battle to keep this stuff under control, but hey, if you want to catch the big ones, you got to be willing to take a chance, right?
Test the Merc today. Talking with Monty, I really wanted to try to get on a topwater bite, and he was hopeful that would could take place, but just like with any type of fishing, we were prepared to to throw the tackle box at him. And he says that's really important. That's what you have to do when you're targeting bass. Every day is different, and your techniques, you cannot be stagnant and just sticking to one type of technique, because often, your one way of doing it's just not gonna work. So what are we gonna start with here? What's our best bet?
We're gonna start off with a couple of these Yo-Zuri topwaters. Maybe you on the prop bait, and I'll try this walking bait and try and figure out which one they're liking better this morning and go from there.
Topwater first thing, huh? You say they'll eat it all day though, sometimes out here.
Absolutely. Some days it's even better on up in the middle of the day.
God, and you know what? This nice calm water, this morning sun's just coming up. It's gonna be gorgeous, seeing them explode on this.
It sure is. I hope they're biting today. A lot of bait working already, I see.
I hear shotgun blasts in the background. It's duck hunting?
Yes, yeah.
Duck hunting's popular this time of the year, airboats. Pretty neat. The Triton's a little out of place, but she'll catch him.
She'll do fine.
There are so many different ways and techniques to fish for largemouth bass, and you can see why it's the most popular fish in all of the United States to fish for. It's plentiful. You don't need a boat to get to them. You can fish from shore, and like I said, you can fish shorelines, you can fish docks, rock piles, weed beds. There's so many different ways and different types of techniques to target these fish. So we're throwing these topwaters this morning, but there's so many different ways that you can target these bass, right? That's what's kind of so cool about them.
Yeah, it really is. There's 100 ways literally that you can catch these fish, and problem is most days it's only one or two ways that they're going to go for it, and you just gotta figure out what that is that given day. That's what makes bass fishing such a challenge.
That's crazy. You would think the same techniques, day after day, but one day they like one bait, and another day they like another bait.
Yeah, and sometimes it can even be worse than that. It can be a particular color that turns them on, and other days they won't touch that color.
The topwater bite was tough. We put some time into it, tried a bunch of different lures, prop baits, walk the dog type of baits, frogs. It just was not happening with the topwaters. So we switched techniques now. Look how pretty that is.
Yeah, we're going punching. We're gonna try and flip through some of these hyacinth and pennywort mats here and see if we can find somebody hanging out underneath them.
So we want to throw right up on the edge, a little into it?
Yeah, you want to get over in it. If you see a big hole way back in it, by all means, don't be afraid. Pitch
Okay.
it in there, and if you feel him hit it.
What are you going to feel? You're going to feel him pick it up?
Yeah, sometimes you'll just feel dead weight. Other times you'll feel the bite. And at that point, you just pull and reel.
Penny ward.
There he is. Now there, George. That's how you do
How
it.
about the little tick?
That's how you do it.
How
Good
cool
job,
is that? Saw that little kind of change in grass right there, and I threw it right in that little tiny hole. There he was. Sorry.
All right, nice fish, man.
Nice, decent little fish. First one of the morning. Topwater bite wasn't happening quite yet, so we switched back over and just punching through this grass. And I'm using like an 1.5 ounce weight, right?
Yes.
It's crazy.
1.5 ounces, yeah.
You wouldn't think you had to throw something so heavy, but you do to get through that grass. I threw it through that grass, it fell. As soon as it fell, I felt a tick, boom. Got a fish, nice.
Very good.
Pretty. He's just sitting there. Oh, it's so much fun. That is so much fun.
Real Time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Eagle Claw Trocar, the sharpest fish hooks in the world.
Trying to establish a pattern, we knew the top water wasn't working out in the open water, so with a high bright sun, these fish are probably tucked up underneath the grass. So that's the great thing with flipping, that you throw several feet up into that vegetation, you punch through it, and most of the time as that trigger bait is falling down to the bottom is when you get your bite.
Oh, there we go.
I threw it, just a couple of feet away from the last bite. Do you get an area where you get a lot the same size typically, or?
You can, but every day is different. Sometimes that's what you're catching. Other days, you might catch one of these, and your next 2 or 3 casts, you might catch the biggest bass of your life. You just never know.
It's
That's
hard.
what makes it so much fun.
And I tell you, it's hard to explain to people if they've not done it. When you're just thrown in that grass and you get that thing to punch through that grass, and you just feel that pickup where it just kind of that one tick where he just kind of swats at it and eats it. I can see how this could be so addicting. I'd be out here every week.
Yes, it is very addictive.
The weather is perfect for Chamber of Commerce, but as far as fishing goes, these bright, sunny days aren't always the best for fishing. We were a couple days ahead of a cold front, and probably honest, in hindsight, the fishing would have been better, if that front would have been on top of us. We had these bluebird skies, and with my experience, with little cloud cover, it can be difficult to get a bite. Seems like we're just, like you said, you have to get out here and establish a pattern, and it's just so important in any kind of fishing, right? Is just to figure out what's working that day, and
Absolutely.
can't be afraid to kind of switch things up. Don't stick to one thing. And
No, the fish a lot of times don't care what we like. They're on their program. It's us that has to adjust to them.
that's true. You get something that you're comfortable with, and you want to stick with it and stick with it. And we were throwing that topwater plug probably for an hour and not getting bit. And as soon as you switch over and do something different, and you start getting bites. You wonder, that hour's worth of water that I just covered, how many fish were behind me?
That's right.
There he is. You get him?
Maybe. Pennywort, some tough stuff. There we go.
He's coming out. Look at that. Now that's
Somewhere under this mess is a 1.5 pound bass.
That's funny. That's
There
why
we
you got
go.
to use that heavy tackle, right?
That's right. 65 pound spider wire, big stout flipping stick.
Flipping's fun. That's that's the quintessential thing for bass fishing in my mind, is to get the 50-pound braid and a flipping stick. And it was interesting. We're using 1.5 ounce weights to punch through this grass, but it's a lot of fun. You're really honing your skills at casting, and when you get the bite, you know it. Got him. God, how far back was he?
Yeah, he was back there a ways.
So you sometimes more than one?
Absolutely.
God, you got him out of that thickest of stuff there. So how long you been fishing these waters, Monty? You grew up around here or what?
Yeah, I grew up in Central Florida. Been guiding for about 12 years now, full time, and tournament fishing a whole lot longer than that. Primarily on the Kissimmee Chain and Winter Haven area, St. Johns River, just all over the central part of the state.
Pretty active in those tournaments. I mean, that's a big thing out here, isn't it? These weekends, weekend you can find a tournament pretty much any of these lakes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a whole long list of them to fish every weekend here in Central Florida.
Got him. Oh, that's a good one.
Better one.
Real nice one. How many pounds will that go?
He's probably 3.5 anyways.
That's a good one. Nice. Ate right there.
Yeah, hit it as soon as I dropped it in. Was flying with it.
It was really difficult to put a solid pattern together. We'd catch one flipping, half hour, 45 minutes would go by, then you'd catch one on a jerk bait, and Monty kept picking up the frog, the topwater frog, and throwing it in there. So he was so hopeful that he was gonna get that big bass on that bite. There he is. Flipping right up there along that edge. Little lull there, finally got another one going here. Not a bad one. Couple pounder.
Fish it off.
It's funny, man, we haven't had a bite in a while, just sticking with the same pattern. How dark he is. You're saying he's tucked up underneath there.
Been under there a while, yeah.
These bright skies are never great for fishing, so we're having a little bit of a struggle, but we're finding them, slowly, surely.
Well, I'm gonna say let's run up to the north end of the lake here. If the fish are getting into a spawning pattern, a lot of times the north end's the first place they do it.
Real-Time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Penn. Let the battle begin.
Monty has a reputation of being one of the best bass fishermen in this area, and I know it, and his tournament standings show it. The guy can catch them, and in hindsight, we caught a ton of fish. It's just not the big ones that Monty was hoping for, and I could tell he was a little disappointed. So we planned on, let's get back out the next day. Let's try a different technique. Let's get some live shiners and, see what we could do with those. The weather's a little different this second morning. A little breezier, a little bit more cloud cover. We're hopeful for a little better bite. All right, day 2. Switched up another technique. We never really got the big bite we were looking for yesterday, so Monty said, let's switch it up. Fish with these bad boys. God, the last time I shiner fished, I was probably a kid. We used to catch them, ourselves in cast nets and fish for bass, but it's been years and years and years. And I know that, this is a proven technique. Yeah, a lot of the guides in the Central Florida and Lake Okeechobee, they use these shiners. It's very successful, and it's a great way to catch big bass.
Yesterday, as you know, we had kind of a tough day on the artificials. I think the fish are in transition, moving out from their, staging areas into they're wanting to spawn and stuff. Sometimes that can make the bite a little bit tough. They got spawning more on their mind. So today I thought we'd give the shiners a chance, and the shiner sits in front of their face a little bit longer, and maybe some of those fish that were reluctant to bite yesterday will go on and feed on the live bait.
So you get the same structure areas though, and just throw these guys out on some corks and just let them swim around?
Yeah, we're just gonna let them do what they do, man. Just let those shiners get out there and see if they can entice some of these bigger fish to bite for us.
Just another technique to use, when the hard baits or the plastics aren't working. That's just something to come out here and definitely help increase your odds of catching a big fish.
Absolutely.
I'm going a little light. It's kind of like my inshore trout rod, just 15-pound spider wire and just a 4,000 size Clash, 8 to 17-pound rod. Usually you go a little heavier, Monty?
Yeah. And these are, as you can see, pretty big baits. These are 6 to 8 inch shiners, and hopefully we're gonna catch a giant or 2 on them today. Did it go under?
It just went boop, and then dropped it.
Oh, he's on.
He's on.
No, yeah, he is. Yep.
There he is. That's fun. See that bobber go under. Right where I got that last one.
Yeah.
Big old shiner sticking out his throat.
You're getting
Look at he
closer.
just choked on that thing.
Yeah.
Look
There
at
he's
this.
hooked.
So he grabbed it and he was just sitting there with it.
Yeah, yeah, he just pulled it under and was just laying right under the mat with it there, but as you can see, he ate it nice and deep.
They got such big mouths.
Little trick to get these hooks that are deep like this, instead of going through the mouth where you can't see through your wrist, come up through the fish's big gill opening right there. And you can just roll it right out. Just like that. And away she goes.
Nice, thanks.
Mhm.
How long you want to give each spot?
Generally, if there's some fish around, it shouldn't take too long. I don't usually sit in a place longer than 10 or 15 minutes. And then I just like to keep bumping down and hitting all the little points and the cuts. And sooner or later, you're gonna find them.
You get in that area, it's hard for them to resist these shiners, isn't it?
Yeah, most days it is. You get it in front of them and sooner or later, they gotta have some of it.
Oh, we just ate him.
He's on there.
Stick him or?
I think he's there. Ooh, just got a hard. Yeah, he's on there. Get your line tight. Got him?
Little guy.
Yeah.
He ate that shiner though, didn't he? That was pretty funny. He was chasing that shiner around. Even with that the shiner bite today, which usually is red hot, it's just tough. I don't know what it is. Weather, something's up with the lake. It's really warm out for December. We're honestly struggling for the big bite, but getting some small ones.
Real-Time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Ray Marine. Don't just go fishing, go hunting underwater.
Out here bass fishing, we covered a lot of water, utilized a lot of different techniques, and it's really important that when you get into an area to stop, slow down, and really concentrate. I mean, it could be just one point where a whole school of fish are holding. So it's really, you can run along on the trolling motor, but without having the ability of the power pole just to stop, stick it down, and fish an area effectively and thoroughly, you're really gonna miss out on a lot of fish. So I cannot stress to you enough the importance of just slowing down. Once you find the fish, concentrate on one area and really, thoroughly fish that one area. So it was a tough day. We tried every area of the lake. We just could not get a pattern going. And you know what? That's the way fishing is some days. We bounced around quite a bit and it was starting to get really windy. Definitely windy out here, Monty.
Yes, it is. Sometimes the weatherman gets it right.
They said it was gonna blow. We pretty much ran out of spots on the lake and we tried one windward side. It was the last spot we were gonna try. All the grass was getting pushed up against one bank, and wouldn't you know, we catch the big fish of the trip.
Wait till you feel him and then pull. Here you go.
There he is.
Big?
It feels pretty good. Got that spinner rod out there.
Yeah, that's a good fish, George.
We've been all over this lake looking for the bite. It's just been a grind. Finally got a decent one, I think. Nice fish. Nice fish. It's kind of more like what we were looking for, right?
Yeah, there we go.
How big is that one, you think?
I'd say it's probably close to 5.
It's amazing. We've been from one end of this lake to the other looking for the bite and got into one corner we haven't fished yet. The wind's really on it, but that may be the key, right?
It could be, yeah. It
You
could
just
be
never
pushing,
know.
Could be pushing some bait up under these mats.
That's a little better one right there.
Absolutely. Nice fish.
Thanks so much, man.
Yes, sir.
Look at that mouth. That's just amazing for a fish of its size to have a mouth. You can eat a 8-inch shiner, no problem at all. Ah, man, Monty, I tell you, we've just used about every technique you can use to go after these guys. We struggled a bit yesterday. You told me there was big ones in here. You wanted to come back out here and throw the shiners at them. I'm sure glad we did. That's a lot better fish right there. I know there's bigger ones in here, but with these conditions, I'm happy to get this one.
It's been a grind, man. Be proud of that one.
Yeah, we got it done though. Let's let this one get back in the water. My experience of bass fishing is pretty limited, but I know that there's more to it than it looks. And I really witnessed it firsthand on this trip with Monty, which pretty much tried every technique in every different area of this lake to fish. And you know what? When you catch him, I think that's what's so rewarding about bass fishing.
Keep slack up. Wait till you feel him. Wait till you feel him.
That's what I get for using 15-pound line, right?
Yeah.
Why'd I stick him so hard?
I don't know.
Huh? Monty said there's big fish here. You didn't lie.
There you go.